line. Let's actually take a look at the picks and bans and see where we're going to be going today. No
fracture.
Thanks, Fnatic and Focus. They took away Icebox.
Split is going to be the first map because Focus decided to ban Icebox.
Is this a bait?
No, it might be a bait, but something that you have. It's not that you haven't played it on the stage, that you didn't play it on promotion relegation. No. It's the fact that they have never played it. Like, we can only theorize about what they can do. But Fnatic actually saw it pretty clear, even though they haven't played at this stage just yet.
They also banned Fracture. Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they want to sort of not show too much against a team that's going to take
it's
that.
It's the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, it's also like a good chance to see Fnatic's map pull in the same way that we were looking at Guild, right? Like confirming top speed, showing that you got a bit more about you than just playing the Icebox or the Fracture. But these teams, I could just sum it up as they're cut from the same cloth. Just the way that they play the idea. I think Fnatic pound for pound is much stronger than Focus, as expected, right? But I do think that we're going to see a lot of good stuff. And it's a good test of like Fnatic, okay, a couple of games ago, you got 13-0'd by FPX on Split. How have you adapted, if at all, when it comes to the meta and the comps?
Hey,
Alpha.
Angel was on Jet.
Alpha, that's it. Doesn't matter what happened. Alpha now.
We were talking about how Focus hasn't played the Fade just yet, and especially since they were coming from promotions, maybe they didn't have that much time. But these three maps actually look very likely to maybe we see here appear, maybe not on the bind since they have played that already, but I would maybe expect it from them on this map. For Fnatic, I would love to play for them to play it as well.
Yeah. I mean,
thank you, Enzo.
And then looking in Fade, I feel like we're going to see Raze Chamber. I feel like they're not really playing Fade without the Raze Chamber. But yeah, there we go. Yeah. This is a classic trio.
I do like the Cypher versus Chamber on this map tends to go the way of the Cypher, which is really interesting. Like, this is a map where it comes in, but yeah, the Reina, Yugi sort of bringing it in. Fnatic are attacking first. Like, defensive side of Focus is going to be really interesting to watch, but it's when it switches over. And Enzo, if Fade mains, watch for the lineups, because we're going to see some really good stuff that, from what Paula was saying, they're just going to copy in the future.
You're just going to steal it.
Yeah.
Playing with the double duelist and the double sentinel, but saying no to the initiator on the side of Focus is going to be maybe a little bit complicated. So there is a lot of weight on Yugi's shoulders right now, and I just want to see the lineups that Enzo has for today. Sorry.
I was just going to say, like, Yugi with the only proper flashes in the game as well. Like, you got the omens, you got the paranoias, but there's no like skies or breaches in this one.
I will also say that this is where we need to, we run out of excuses in Fnatic, right? At playoffs, it's like, oh, they're having a little bit of an off day, 13-0. At Masters, they had 2 stand-ins. Oh, we cut them some slack. But on this map, they picked this map. They have to show up here. They have to win dominantly, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. I think that they will. I think that it's good and healthy for them to get those reps, especially if they want to keep playing with the double controller and actually test the Fade to the best of their ability. I think it's the way to go.
Well, it's the first time these two teams are going to be facing each other, and a first seed out of groups is on the line. Let's jump into Split with your casters, Pansy and Hypok.
Now, by all accounts, looking at this game, Mike, it should be a Fnatic game, right?
I mean, I love the fact that Kakuga's like, oh, you can maybe theorize to what Focus it. Rain is here, throw theory out the window. I am hoping Yugi is just unbound shift and S. Right, because that's basically what he needs to do here. And I am down for it. This is almost like Focus. I hate to say it, saying, right, let's cut our losses, boys. What else have we got left to lose, right? Let's just kind of, as Ryan would eloquently put it, papage it here in map 1 on...
What is a papage?
I don't know. It's a French twist on a potato, I think. There's an acute accent in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's something about it. Alrighty, we are live into the game, and Alpha is giving it up. All right, fair enough. It looks like Fnatic just decided to throw themselves in the site, and it's gone pretty poorly until then. Durka is still doing Durka things, so he should be okay. And I'm going to be honest, I do hope that Fnatic don't overlook the opponent or look beyond them, because Focus is still dangerous. And I think that's one thing we have learned throughout this, is that, yes, I know everyone loves a bit of boast, but that definitely wasn't him that we were following then. So let's make sure the cams are right. But for me, the sad fact about Focus is they've gone really close in a couple of games. They've put up some really interesting results, but they've never quite been able to convert it when it matters.
I mean,
right?
for me, in my eyes, they should have beaten G2. I think G2 got away with avoiding a massive upset there. They actually tested Ascend as well. They actually took a map off them, and I think that series was extremely close. So credit where credit's due. Focus have made waves this stage in my eyes.
Yes. It's one of the new additions as well, and I actually really like that. We've seen Big now have their moment to convert. Yugi. All right. if you're just going to go toe-to-toe and just take down Alpha every round, maybe that's the win condition. Like, obviously, there's that next, string to the bow, which is Durka, but so far, so good. Doing as is required. It's just classics for Fnatic. But for Focus, this is a game that obviously does... It feels like it has pressure, but technically, this is the one where they can be completely... almost, overdoing everything, over-pushing, over-peaking, do whatever you want almost to a degree. Do the damage. If you've got that possibility, that potential for it, why not? And Yugi is looking sharp today.
That's what you want to see. This basically squashes the questions, right? If you maintain this, you pick you can pick what you want. You can make any agent work if you frag anyway. So, sure, somewhere Lothar's cringing into the abyss, but you can make it work here. And ultimately, against a team like Fnatic, having a spanner in the works, somebody to get a little unorthodox, that's something that could potentially catch them off guard in a couple of rounds at least.
30 seconds left.
I actually really do like the trying something a little different here and there. I think we've all noted that in a traditional sense, Focus should not beat Fnatic. So if they're going to play outside of the traditional box, which it may depend on Yugi having a hot game, which is something you wouldn't want to depend on, right? Let's say your coach is in the game. You don't want your entire structure plan to be, all right, Yugi go frag, right? It's if he has a bad day, suddenly you have nothing. But again, sometimes you got to roll what's in front of you, and so far it's worked well. Durka, the only one so far to do any damage at all, really, for Fnatic. Now there is a tech pause. Still waiting on the Panpoc there, Enrico, our fearless leader.
Graphics department must be swamped today.
Yeah, it's a busy day. It's a busy day out in Germany. Weather's been a bit, hit and miss. Ooh, lots to do. But again, I like the idea of Focus without stress on them in that regard.
Yeah.
But what a nice sort of team to come into this caliber of gameplay.
With the overall, the bigger picture, I guess the thing to take away is that it is relatively, play as you feel now, which is a shame. I would have loved to have seen Focus make a run for it. Not necessarily saying they're in the caliber to qualify through to Reykjavik first of all, but as a first test here to step up and qualify, they've absolutely made a name for themselves. And it's around a couple of the names that were so exciting through the VRL. I mean, your boy Lewis and Yugi, two very hot prospects here, is usually the tip of the spear for this roster. But the other three members, everybody stepped up for me on this roster. I mean, Vong and Alluri in particular have had some fantastic individual performances.
My mind goes back to him on, I think it was Fracture. He looked really nice on that. I mean, as you said, I think a lot of the players on Focus have had a couple of games where it's definitely stood out to us. And this is the thing, we don't need to sing Fnatic's praises. They've been untouchable during this run so far, right? So it's easy to feel as though we're only talking about Focus, because really, in reality, you should already know where Fnatic's at. They're looking good, right? Like, we all know about Alpha here. He's probably the hottest prospect coming into this, right? Like, out of all the players that are coming in, it was a big question mark. Honeymoon period, all the other, normal phrases thrown around. I would still say I want to see them tested with people really having to put attention on him now. You know what I mean? Once we get to those international levels, let's work under the assumption they'd qualify through to your masters, right? Because it's such a different caliber when you talk to about certain players. But I still want to see that magnifying glass from other tier 1 teams on Fnatic and what they come up with, because that'd be such an interesting prospect. However, I have been told, because it's us, and we want to give you guys a break. It's been taxing. It's been a long day, so we are going to head to a break. Apologies for this. Hopefully we'll be back as soon as possible. Okay, we're back. It's all good. All good. All gravy. Right?
Psych.
got absolutely
debated.
Yeah, nice one, Enrico. We start talking about him on stream. It's like, I'm gonna mess with him now. Yeah, it's another break, Lauren. Yeah, go to it. Yeah, nice one. No, we're all good to go. So let's dive back into things and kind of, again, remind yourselves where we're at. First couple of rounds, blowouts, Focus comfortably converted. Now we're into the bonus here, and Fnatic do have the full buy.
We can get done with this immediately. Alpha and Durka looking to explore through mid. Boombot going to pave the way, find all that space here, and actually Enzo will follow through with a Prowler. A deeper wall here, though, towards Heaven, and you can see where your boy Lewis has actually got himself tucked up here with a Judge, so going to rely on some diligence here on the side of Fnatic to clear out these early angles if they do opt to re-explore B main. Looks as if Spike's actually making its way towards A, implying the split may come through. Again, with this early progress towards ropes, it would make sense. And Gatsy as well. Durka's got his TP back towards sewers as well. So you can actually plant the seed pretty late towards B heaven and get right behind this execute onto A site. It's pulling Yugi away, actually.
Yeah, it has.
Considering, yeah.
Yeah, there was a moment of thought, right? He paused for thought there. He's kind of lent back around towards CT, but by now the smokes will be invested. So, again, vision and impact limited here. And look and see how much really the player on the side can do as well. It looks like folks are going to commit towards the site, play 2 towards pillar. 13 seconds, and they're leaving this really late. And if the spike keeps being tested, Fnatic, what is going on here? Spike plant can come in on the front side of pillar, but it's on Enzo to really keep this safe as well. And great work from Enzo. Takes down one, but it's exceptional trades. It's Durka in a 1v3. One of the main men you'd want to be in this scenario. Good for the first, but tagged up drastically. 31 HP, and the support's on the way. Coming in through ropes, but there's time dwindling. Turns around and just skip through. Focus, convert the bonus.
That's a huge round for them. I mean, it took Fnatic an age, it felt like, to commit to selling that fake. Durka still just baiting the footsteps. You can see there's still 3 members of Focus committed to holding B site, but I mean, very early on as that execute comes through, it falls apart. A key kill coming through with this, the spike noted, drop through. It's actually, I think, Mystic that has to try and recover that. And actually, the Cypher utility on A site is invested so deep that there's still actually the contingency to recover that. So a little strange to see that play out the way it did. As strange as it is to see Yugi pick up the operator here, but
I believe. Oh, what have I said it? I've absolutely cursed it.
we'll make it work. Yeah, Reign of the operator, main.
Just wait and see. All right, there's method to the madness.
I'm
sure.
Play.
Durka popping out the ult as well. And Enzo's got a fair amount of wiggle room, and look how isolated these 2 players are going to be. Your boy Lewis.
That's a good spot.
Boucher tucked towards A, dedicated towards this. This is tricky now. Lewis is going to be on red alert. Alpha just kind of pre-firing it to tease up Durka. Really nice spam. I'm not sure if you even saw a pixel just going through the motions.
That's actually a crazy little bait there. Just a gamble on somebody playing behind the box. Durka will face off against Yugi here. Well, Yugi's actually going to commit to swinging as he actually does. He's going to punish Durka. Vong on the other side of things. But that's actually going to draw the rotation here. Fnatic.
But they're already filling.
Audible call, but the wall's still up.
I like this from Illuri. He instantly leans back around. He was not slow to this by any means.
But the Sage wall's still here.
Seconds left.
That's massive. The time. They've got to give it away. They have to show their hand here. And Illuri was close enough by that the slow gets invested. He dips away towards CT to not give up his life. He doesn't want to be punished on this. And Vong just trying to play that deeper angle over by main. Gets spammed off the angle. Great work from Fnatic. And actually, Alpha outdoes Illuri, who was expecting maybe the play coming in from the top by the catwalk. Oh, and the Ferrari peak from Alpha punishing Yugi. And so now, let's get outdone. And the 2v2 post plant.
29 HP on Vong, though. That could be problematic. Mystic already wrapping spawn here. So proactive, but Alpha has been found.
And that's site cleared. They've got to know that there's someone either sitting CT or wrapping, but the timing of this is critical. Mystic was fast to it, but not fast enough to get out the gun. Focus.
Midway through a weapon swap there.
Yeah.
Mystic gets punished. Again, Alpha Air, yeah, but you can't really play time from hell with Focus re-wrapping through there. We found the space at exactly the right time. Well, a little out of sorts from Fnatic so far, I'm not going to lie. Whether or not we'll see a total readdress here, but 4 rounds unanswered so far for Focus, and they continue to impress in my eyes.
And a big confidence booster for Yugi, even just taking on Durka 1-to-1. Winning that fight. Yeah, he got Ferrari peaked by Alpha here, but you kind of expect that by now. This guy is good. Like, we don't need to be told that. He is really, really hot, but just in that, operator battle, it's always a nice little bonus. Now, how does he try and deal with this? Yugi marked and kept to it, and look who's on the hunt already. They are trying to chase this down. Yugi gonna have to dip away and respect this, because Durka and Alpha here in the case, and that is the 1-2 punch for Fnatic. Right now, everyone else is actually pretty quiet from the side.
You don't really want to be either of the duelists for Focus. You're either trying to raise diff or face off against Durka. The lesser of two
Nice
evils. Or, yeah, the pace shell will slow things down, and the one way actually goes up right behind it. So that will deny Fnatic exploring behind that. But Boaster finds a key kill. Yugi will fall here. Operator removed.
They still have 2 to get past, though, Mike. There's still the 2 players tucked here. Your boy Lewis has to be so cognizant of the timing for Fnatic now walking through towards Heaven. First fight comes in, Durka wins it. Nice opening towards the site itself. Now look towards Busha. What more can one man do? It's not looking good. Alpha reads it really well. Lovely work from Fnatic. Seeing a little bit more of that pedigree coming out this round. That's much better from them.
Way more disciplined, way more diligent on the approach as well.
Spike planted.
Well, the timing absolutely right on this one. Illyrian Vong will just settle for the saves, and actually the trap outside A main will probably give Fnatic all the information they need to potentially try and chase this down. I mean, Focus already with a big advantage in terms of the economy, and you look over on the right side, there's Mystic down at 800, everybody else sitting closer to 1500. So whether or not Fnatic want to make sure that they have a full cushion across the board after this round, or they want to risk removing these 2 weapons, it doesn't really favor them too much. And coming back in actually with the plant, Alpha Air gets the showstopper online. Mystic one away from the Viper's pit as well. So Fnatic actually a little ahead of the curve in that regard with the ultimates. Side of Focus, yeah, ultimates here, but not really playmakers.
Not the influencers, yeah. No, you're not wrong. Lewis not really having much to do at the start of these rounds yet. We have seen him be bested, obviously, towards Heaven, but it hasn't been particularly comfortable scenarios at that point. And it's nice to see a bit of a gear shift from Fnatic as well. You saw literally the difference in night and day in that prior round to what we saw before. Suddenly, really composed, showing some of that capability that we absolutely know they have in droves. So Yugi back at it again, though. Sticking around. Gonna once again have to respect the utility invested. Noted early, that's a big start for Fnatic here. They can start taking that space.
Second time Yugi's eaten a boombot as well. Alpha, yeah, making use of his utility to force Yugi off these early angles with that operator. Look how much space he's actually able to clear here as well. Your boy Lewis will re-explore, wants to try and catch the trap, but it's dealt with by Durka, so Lewis just has to post up for the time being. Nearly catched him with a spam, actually. Alpha on 54 HP would have just been 2 body shots with a Vandal there. At
this point, you're feeling that B is on the chopping block, right? Like, it's looking so vulnerable. Bucha. Lewis? That's brave. And the timing, if he was a second earlier, could have found Enzo potentially, but not to be. And there's a success on the side. So once again, somewhat rinse and repeat look here, but it's worked really well. Hype's fit goes up. Wrong noting where it started, but this is where things get a little bit choppy for Focus. Because now for Fnatic's found the success, right? Is deal with Yugi early, force him away, keep him as tamed as we can. We have to see some of that variety now coming out, a little bit more. I like to see him across the map, trying to be proactive as best he can, because that mid-fight, he's just not being given what he wanted a couple of times now.
Exactly, pick an extremity, because Fnatic are prioritizing mid. And if they're going to do that, it's not really worth the investment at that point. You almost just want to put a rifle in Yugi's hands and put him to work. Just get scrappy somewhere on one of the sites.
Oh, because as noted now, a couple of rounds now posted for Fnatic. This is working for them, right? This like, okay, prioritize mid, take that control, and frustrating, I'm sure, for Yugi, but the utility is tailor-made to force him away. He can't challenge this. You've seen it twice now. It's clear as day. Now, Fnatic have the reins in that regard in my mind now. They've set that tone, right? They've set that pace that, right, we're going to take mid, and if we get the chance, we'll split through that B side. We've made it look pretty comfy. Where's the adjustment now? Do they do the same thing? Do they switch it up just because you know that maybe Focus will try and hit that adaptation?
Initially, though, Fnatic look as if they're able to stabilize a little bit. 2 rounds left to find. Yugi posts up in the same angle again.
Just because the jump spot. I like the try of adjustment. Alpha jumped it last time. He's tried to account for it, but he's actually sticking around. So he's got support there in the form of the judge to clear some of that fade utility. So a little bit of a adaptation. And I wonder how this changes the dynamic from Fnatic, because he's now going to be able to keep that control towards top mid.
Step is, but Yugi's not rotating. That's the thing. You show the operator that early on. Now with the judge being the one to deal with that utility, as you've noted, they almost know. They know that they've invested an extra body to at least try and support Yugi in the early round. But Fnatic now with 5 drift towards A site. Otherwise, Butcher going to be left on an island here on site.
Oh, and look at this site take. It's looking tasty. Fnatic getting all players forward. Alpha here up towards the top side of things. Butcher's going to find Boaster, though. All gets invested. Everything now noted. Butcher does get overwhelmed. Good trade comes in from Mystic eventually. As Alpha here just facing down towards CT. Stunner of a shot towards Yugi. Didn't get much of a say in the matter. Now with the spike planted, the dive in from your boy Lewis, and the upgrade. Luri's found Mystic. Hold on. It's Enzo and Dirk are still alive. And something that's got a little bit more problematic than it should have been, but found eventually by Enzo. And you've got to be thanking the stars that you had Alpha Air and Durka once again doing impact work in this round.
I mean, the hell retake was fantastic. The paranoia from Vong sets up your boy Lewis to find that upgrade, but immediately Durka responds with 2 kills. Taking out the punch from that retake. And the knife will actually then to secure it as well. All the information goes across Prowler to seal the deal. That's going to force the timeout out from Focus, as they still lead by a round, but it's like Fnatic get themselves firmly back in control of this half. The purchase going to be, I mean, unless your boy Lewis opts for a judge once again. Missing some key utility from Alluri. Might have to sit this one out. Yeah, the first blood comes through, actually, from Focus on site. I'm not sure, actually, on the back of the Neural Theft, if there was a chance to reposition and avoid being traded there, but it's difficult with, like I said, your boy Lewis as a judge. He's in heaven. He's got to wait for somebody else to set him up. It's not as if he can come and bail them out ahead of that execute.
No. And this is where, you know, as said, as much as Fnatic can sometimes look like the two-man show of Durka Alpha here, right? Like, those two are your headline stars. There is other elements to this. Nice adjustment so far. They come in with depth, right? Like, that's why people will give them, technically, I guess, this game, right? If you look at it in that aspect, they should have depth and they should have individual firepower. It's the combo that people look for, right? Now on the other side of Focus, we know they've got firepower. It's depth that you're worried about. It's like, okay, once that first look gets noted, what more do you have? And right now, Alpha just overruns Yugi.
Double satchel so quick up there. No res available. Boaster and Durka will find kills as well. Just down to Vong and Alluri. Just like that. Barely 30 seconds pass and all wrapped up, tied up, 4 apiece now.
Here.
You actually noticed, yeah, I did see obviously on social media, Durka has gone full egg. It's caught on the player cam there.
Yeah, no, it's
not dangerous. It's not dangerous. It's a buff. It's a big buff.
Do you believe in the bull buff?
Player-wise, yes.
So not caster-wise. Were you expecting me to potentially shift it that way? Huh.
Wow.
Find a way through them.
Just don't know why you do it about Tom. You know what I mean? Like, he tries his best, dude. That's pretty rough. Yugi gonna take a head-on challenge, and you can see how quick Alpha is. That's the problem, gonna get himself up towards ramp early on. And now Yugi's tucked into a bit of a trickier spot, but I quite like the idea of being aggressive with this. Durka this time gets dealt with. Okay, so the 2 superstars are now dealt with. What is left with the rest of Fnatic? That's where we got to see close to no man's land. Absolutely nothing to be said. Yugi's there to find Enzo, and look, what?
Sorry, where did Boaster just TP to? TP?
I don't think he knows, Mike.
Was that inside the poison orb? So that was an orchestrated hit. The poison orb comes through. Boaster TP'd inside it? I gotta see that again.
See. I'm watching the TP,
yeah, look.
Yes. Okay. As a wonder.
There's so much for Boaster to clear on the backside of that TP. I mean, they're relying ultimately on Lewis not winning a 1v2 on ramp, but...
Which, honestly, against Durka and Alpha, you'd say normally he wouldn't.
Fair play, Lewis.
Yeah, big ups.
I'd love to see what the second layer of that execution is, though.
Yeah, it's kind of... Unfortunately, you see it cut off like that, because it's kind of interesting to see what the full intention would have been. Yugi. Oh. Deep on the backside of this. That has been noted. Definitely heard. And already mid-exploration happens. You can see the Alpha and Durka, the 1-2 combo. walking it up. And no challenge to be found here, of course, by Yugi, who has been already considered over to the other side of the map. But the wall's still there. That's going to get dealt with. And Alluri on the other side.
Much slower approach here from Fnatic. Early mid progress, though, in their favor. It's only Vong, though, and he's faced off against 2 members outside Garage this time around. No real chance for him to reset. Alluri has to find one here to slow things down.
I could almost argue more than one at this point. Oh, and he's just spammed off. Really diligent work. Fnatic just going to be crunching towards this. Vong's still good for it. Going to find Mystic. But of course,
Gets a second as well. Caught on the reload.
Yeah, a little awkward in that. Now, of course, though, Durka did win his fight. He's still got Alfire standing. Vong's high priority target for them if they can take that space back. But for now, they just secure the area. 31 HP. What more can he do with this? It's on the other 2 now to try and find influence this round.
Durka tucked into Mail as well. His TP actually goes all the way to Sewers, though. So if they can force the TP,
Shot.
he could be played out this round altogether, Lauren.
Oh, but there's a trade. Enzo's got him. Now Durka called upon. Good conversion. And now Yugi, well, all the time, all the place. Location revealed. And they're just going to face him down. Yeah, comfy work in the end for Fnatic, but things got a little uncomfortable with Vong's success there over towards B main. But again, if Durka's alive or Alpha is alive, they're probably still going to get the round.
Yeah, both are desperate to try and trade that kill on Mystic. Unfortunately, then gets caught basically with his pants down during the reload. Doesn't end up causing any further issues. I mean, the site holding itself was good, even with one response coming through. Like I said, if they could have forced the TP out from Durka, that would have got really, really dicey.
All set up.
Again, it's Yugi, last man standing with the operator, so haven't been sold on it so far, I'll be honest.
You want to
No.
play?
Yugi's
Let's
marked
play.
as well now. He has to get a kill to get out of here. What? Durka gets 2. He got a freebie in the back. No way. It was a headshot onto Lewis. What is that?
Feels absolutely terrible for Focus.
You
but
gotta be kicking yourself if you're Lewis there. It's like, yeah, I'll come help. I'm swinging ropes.
I'm on the way. Don't worry, now I've got you. I know you're stuck there. Oh, I'm dead as well.
I gotta say it as well though, with Reyna, like it needs to be self-sufficient. If Focus have to build something behind it, it makes it even harder to justify the pick. And I mean, we're at a 5-5 scoreline, so I'm not gonna read too deep into it, but
Well, let's see if Albucha's got a cape, because he's going to certainly need one here. He's got to become a hero in this, and well, drastically overwhelmed. Numbers favoring heavily. Inside taking Alluri is a mile away. Spike's already basically on site. This one's comfy. And Durka going to be watching the cross as well, just to make matters worse. There's no easy way back here.
well, he should hear these steps. Actually, Alluri just starts walking at the right time. Yeah, Durka in Narnia. Trying to police that operator, I think, and he should even just catch. Sure, okay. The sixth sense is tingling. Both players here. Problem is, you can see Durka from 4 feet behind the wall because of that barrel.
It's true. I think Alluri's peeling away now at this point.
I think he was considering going for the operator as well, which is why we see both of these players kind of in this weird stalemate.
Yeah.
I'm sure actually Durka, he's got a Vandal as well, so it's not easy as if you want him to go exploring just to lose it. We'll actually get the res through, I guess, for economy, try and bring a second rifle into this. I'm not sure if they can offset this purchase at all for round 12. No, that's the reason we're seeing the res come through, just to make sure they have the second rifle here. No possibility for the operator, no possibility for a rifle in the hands of Yugi, actually. You see the reaction from Durka.
Happy egg. Very happy egg.
Egg smile.
Egg smile. 6-5. And you can see the string of rounds the Fnatic have gone on. Focus had a little bit of time of day. And it's really been stopped as of late. Fnatic just going through the motions now. Mid-take once again, similar scenes.
Just a carbon copy once again. This time they don't see Yugi. They know there's no operator, so anticipating him in a different spot. Lewis posted up. This time, actually, it's only one member of Fnatic on the other side of Garage, so potential for him to take away one of the pieces. Let's execute. Actually, Mystic drifting that way now, so the buddy system in place for Boaster. Enzo probably investing the ultimate here, and we'll get a lot of information here. You see actually the ping coming through. They're still conscious of the possibility of somebody being in B main. Lewis will go 1-for-1, but should make an awful lot of difference.
Yeah, Lure is in danger.
Yeah.
Dealt with swiftly by Alpha Vong, doing the best he can, but Alpha has got a rocket. There's going to be more than enough to clear him. And there should be 7 coming in pretty swiftly. Butcher and Yugi. And again, do have rifles to play with. I think Yugi just caught a glimpse. He did. Catching just the back of Alpha here, trying to adjust around the pillar. And look at Enzo's positioning. Slips in towards CT. Now he can go on that big wrap towards Heaven now. Again, doesn't even get to have to do that as Mystic is there happily waiting for Yugi. Fnatic will leave a nice little 7-5 scoreline on the half.
And I mean, usually I'd say it relies on having a good defensive half here on split, but with the Reina being there, can focus, muster something together here on the attack. It's not looked particularly convincing so far. I mean, for either side, actually, Fnatic almost fumbling a little bit in the start of that half, but stabilizing well to come through with a 2-round lead at the end of it. But here, this is the big test. What can Yugi do here? Can he really disrupt any of this defensive strength from Fnatic? Because with this composition, there's lots to overcome, Lauren.
There is, and this entire game is always kind of based on basically what can Focus do, right? It's Fnatic has already set the tone. So that's a spare shorty down there, nasty. So we already know what they're capable of. We have to see if, as you said, there's any way to disrupt this. That's a start. Not bad at all.
Oh, Yugi gets himself into a raid boss position straight away with the overheal. See if he can
Lovely for him.
make use of it early on. Actually, Durka desperate to try and close down a kill on the other side of the map.
Ah, Mystic.
Well, I mean, this is good because Yugi's got the best shot at negating the shorty with 150 HP, but we'll have to see.
Well, here we go. The fight for the ages. Oh, he's getting curious. Oh, and Curiosity killed the cat and he killed Mystic as well. Durka does handle him, though, because obviously he's got the Guardian in the pistol round instead, which is better. Now, Frenzy's still up for play as well with Boaster. Ooh, Butcher spammed out Durka. Boaster can fill the gap, though. Here, nice and quick. Down 29 HP. Still good for 1. But overwhelmed in the end, and now they noted that final player. Enzo had to do something from CT. And now a quick rotation over towards that B site.
I have retrieved the spike.
30 seconds left.
Spy cam available as well, so an extra set of eyes here in the post plant. Again, just going to make Enzo's life even harder with 34 HP. A little bit of utility to work with, but a classic in hand, facing off against 2 ghosts. It's a tall order.
Certainly is. Oof, especially now. Nice little attempt. Not going to get anything from it, though. But again, good looks here and there from Focus. A nice little round to start off with by Yugi. But again, it's such a tall task to continue to ask them to do this, right? You've already got Durka on 16-7, right? Like, that's already quite a decent start for him. Everyone else doing okay. Alpha finding some really critical kills. Boaster doing all right. Enzo, Mystic, everyone's doing their job.
Dare I say it, Alpha having a quiet start.
For Alpha, yes.
That's kind of unheard of. So if he does decide to fire up here, it could certainly make things interesting. We've been overly reliant on him fragging out. He's been good for a few entries regardless. So again, when I say quieter, it's just from what we've seen previously, which has been explosive from the get-go.
So early exploration work towards that A side, but then the reassembly of the mid-hole to an extent. I mean, again, they're working with pistols, shorties, frenzies. It's Alpha and Enzo, the only ones who have anything upgraded to write home about, but it is a stack towards A, so if Focus don't do their homework, if they don't do their due diligence, you could be in trouble, but of course they leave it into the safe hands of Durka on the other side. It's not necessarily a bad shout here. And Alpha gonna be waiting just in case anyone dares comes up towards them. Maybe trying to feel out where this man may be waiting.
Durka does actually decide to explore a little bit. Nothing left in the headhunter now, though.
Teleport's ready.
Gonna try and fake the TP, I think, but they should have heard both TPs put down. Just gambles the wrong way. Lewis will find it.
Seconds left.
They're still being smart to check on this. I'm glad that they didn't.
Well, they
fall to-
should have heard both sound cues there for the
Yeah.
TP being placed. So it's a nice try from Durka to try and get out of there, but Focus not buying it.
Nah, not at all. And the last three, quite far away. They were kind of more towards that A stack, but Lewis already finds Mystic and actually dips out of there. Doesn't want to stick around too long in case anything came flying up a rope. Leaving Yugi to deal with anyone up there. There it is. Finds Poster. And there is a one to follow. That's going to be Enzo.
Frenzo,
Why'd you say it?
ready to try and get the Vandal out of the hands. I mean, it would be big if you could remove one of these rifles, but
Oh, don't try and bring it back on you know, into
it's just a
normal
throwaway
odds.
comment. I don't know what you mean.
Frenzo. Really? Wow. That frenzy does look like a croc though, and I don't like it. You know what I mean?
A croc.
Yeah, like crocs. It's got a little bit on the back. You know what I mean?
Well,
when it's in like speed
I
mode.
mean, I don't own Crocs, so I wouldn't know.
why are you lying?
Well, I definitely don't. You just exposed
That's weird.
yourself.
That's weird that you're lying like this, Mike. Nah, that's really weird. 7-7 though. And this game's close. I feel like I'm waiting for the penny to drop. You know, I'm just like waiting for Fnatic to go, well, let's just win, which they have absolutely the capability to do.
I mean,
Like,
I'm kind of with you there, honestly. For what's the end goal here? When do we flip the switch? Is there
10 for focus,
Well-
and then I'm aboard.
I think just come the kings of trolling in VCT EMEA.
Just flawless throughout.
Are
until
they getting paid
focus.
by the round? Is that what we're saying here?
They do not have a hot date later. You know, some games they got somewhere to be. Not the case right now. Oh, here's the bonus for focus. So this should be more part of the course. Alpha, you're not going to miss that. Yugi, not really giving us much to pay mind to. Butcher does have the rifle as well, so Alpha,
Enemy remaining.
lovely shot. Really quite clean. As Illuri, the last one alive, and this has been clean.
About to be flawless.
More lies like the Crocs. That's crazy.
Excuse me.
Can't stop himself. Or to be brought over for Fnatic for rifles kept. And again, I think we get on board the focus train at 10 for me. That's when I'm like, okay, this is actually very, very feasible. But I'm just, once these rifles come out, I'm waiting with bated breath because again,
Well,
if Durka starts building up towards his ult and everything else, there's a lot to be looked at,
Which-
beyond this start.
Which what makes this round so important is that it's focused of effectively their first full buy. It's the last buy
Yes.
as well. There's nothing else behind this. Well, the last, I said they haven't got another purchase behind this. Ultimates, way away from the only playmaker here, which is the showstopper. So this is the big test for me. If Focus can make a push for this, it's got to be in this round.
So the first potential fight, if they commit to it, would be Boaster and Mystic. Mystic over towards that rope side and Boaster playing towards Melram. But again, Alpha, Enzo checking towards ramp, going through their checklist of activities to get done. And a similar look, honestly, if you roll your mind back to how Fnatic looked on this half, on this side of things, you know, the 1-3-1, taking their time, no massive investments anywhere. Especially the rotation starting to peel away from middle and rolling through that utility cycle.
A little bit burnt up here, but still got two satchels, still got the paranoia, so potential for a burst onto either side, but not really set up for it, and one being burnt out there. Maybe just to deal with the trap. Actually, I think yeah, one of the tripwires actually outside A was dealt with there, so a trade-off of utility in that regard, and it actually does pull Alpha
30 seconds left.
towards A site, at least for a moment, whether or not he's faking the steps Draws Lewis out of ropes, but now he can actually commit.
Here comes the trade out. Let's see. Ooh, big swing from Vong, but there's Alfire, but there goes Alfire. It's now down to Boaster, who's got some pretty tricky angles.
Two
Succeeds
big
against
kills.
Alluri, which is massive. The main man, Frenzo, is there this time. A little more upgraded with the Vandal, but does the job nonetheless. Fnatic hold on, and honestly, Boaster, that second shot there kept them safe. Otherwise, that round could have gone a completely different way.
He could have, and now I'm curious, really. This is Fnatic knocking on the door of double digits. Again, Showstopper's not there. There's not an awful lot, really, to bolster this purchase or make this any easier for them. I hate to say it, round 17, this could be Fnatic making a push towards map point in the blink of an eye.
And that's why we were kind of looking towards that 10 marker to be the one to really be an indicator. Boaster filling the feed with 2. Spams through by the mailroom and actually does manage to drop the spike as well. So Yugi now waiting to see if any support was going to be coming his way, but they are ready for this. They have read you from the very start of the round, it feels like. And there's the note. And he's going to try and back out of there for now.
Vong can get anything done through here. Again, the smoke's going to slow things down in heaven. Stacked up here, ready to trade, but both already looking sharp in this round. Not really taking an awful lot of damage for those first 2 kills either. We'll find another one.
Spike down B.
Actually, we'll set up Mystic to swing through and just clean this one up. This is the pivotal round. Come through here. This is the buy round. Fnatic, if they win, they're on 11. Focus have to do something to get themselves back in here before this spiral. I mean, it could spiral out of control very quickly.
There's a couple of different gates, right? It's like that previous round we were talking about when they both had the first real buy coming in. That was the first gate where you're like, okay, Fnatic now get that next step, right? This is almost the second gate before you can't really come back anymore for Focus. So the one coming in here is critical, it's essential, it's everything. And they still don't have that much progress towards the ult they potentially want. I mean, Yugi and Bucha, it's not the dream. Lewis going to take some quickened pace over towards start of things. And someone who does have the ult is obviously Alfire going to clear space, but Boaster wins out against Lewis.
And the problem being, Alfire cleared so much behind that. They know it's not an A hit. They know they're not sat deep, just waiting for Lewis to clear the space for them. So look how quickly Fnatic are adjusting.
Vong. It's a shot. But you're right, it's the adjustment behind it. Before you might have had maybe a 2v2 on the site. Now you've already got the other players starting to lean around. But Enzo shifting back towards the A side, but contact's been noted, and Boaster plays really nicely from the back of pillar. Good combination work, the push and the pull from the site. Fnatic close it out. That's really nice push and pull between Boaster and Mystic. No favorable angles. As soon as you got contact on one, the other's already swinging on you. That is lovely, lovely work.
And like I said, credit to Alfire, clearing behind that pressure from Lewis. Make sure that they have bodies in place. That window of opportunity is so small, and even though Vong finds a kill, it amounts to nothing.
Which is crazy to me, because like normally part of the checklist is okay, kill Durka, kill Alfire, right? And then suddenly it feels more possible. But look at this really nice synergy between the two of them. This is lovely work. I really want to highlight that was really nice work from those two. And a big round to convert as well. Obviously, if we know the weight of that round, they absolutely do as well. So big round for Fnatic to come in and just temper any potential comeback mechanics from Focus, because they're still looking dangerous, but they've lost that spark. It's now 4 on the trot coming out for Fnatic.
Siren, the funds aren't going to be there for Focus. And that's the problem, really. The problem will be Fnatic reach map point then, and it's all but concluded at that point.
Yeah. Hey, this is one of the things where not every game's going to be close, right? You've had one of the brand newcomers to this sort of league of caliber teams, right? First time they made it this far, and they've been great to watch. Focus, you know, this has been a really enjoyable team to watch. And roll your mind back to this, you know, earlier days of Valorant, a team that would just come in towards, you know, that tier 1 caliber would never even pull a scoreline this close. So if anything, already that's such a drastic difference. But you still have to give credit to Fnatic, right? There's a reason they're towards the top. They barely dropped a game or at all. They have been absolutely on the money. So a little bit more of an expected to you know, outcome, but we wait and see the conclusion. Is at 7-11. It's certainly still possible, just very unlikely.
I expect Fnatic to try and reinforce now. Like I said, a showstopper, about the only saving grace if Lewis can get it in this round and try and turn things back in their favor. Empress online. Right?
Cool. Anyway.
The Empress is there. It's online. Playmaker. Nope.
It's gone. Ooh. Yeah, in the chamber meta, when you have someone like Yugi, I really do feel like, why is he not on chamber? You know, he's quite a good player with operators. Oh, Mystic's just farming. Mystic's farming. Oh, he's absolutely farming them.
He's got his Twitter clip for the day.
There it is. He's loving it. It's 12. And all the energy and steam that could have been building behind Focus has evaporated.
Let's see if Focus just want to try and switch things up a little bit here, go for a fast hit. I mean, Lewis managed to get himself so deep into heaven in the previous, whether or not now they want to invest behind that. It's looking as if that's going to be the case. As you can see, all 5 stacked up here. Fnatic playing very deep, though. They want to mitigate the risk from that. Actually, a safe TP from Durka as well. Posted. Durka still finds one behind it, Lauren.
Oh, the pain is never ending for Focus as Durka is just the immovable object. And yeah, Lewis finds a little bit of space towards the side, but he's going to need more than space. He's going to need miracles during this one. A 2v3. Durka still standing, Alpha Air up, and as is Enzo. Isolates the fight towards CT. That's not bad. Durka's vision now turns. Enzo spots him on the cross.
I know exactly.
He wants that spike plant as soon as he can. And Enzo, he's going to know exactly where they reside. Actually, Von tries to play the smoke, and that's brave. It's bold. It actually works out, Durka. Death from above. Devastating Focus in the potential final throws. Lucha trying to play on the pillar. But it is Durka. Probably the one man you don't want to face. It's all about timing. Durka closing in. Has to try and force the hand. And he goes early. He doesn't even tap the spike. Just a different caliber out here. Fnatic showing exactly as to why they are towards the top of the entire thing.
Unfortunate end here for Matt Bond when things showed a little bit of promise in the first half for Focus, but
Defenders win.
Fnatic just, like I said, just stepping up. Almost feeling like when they wanted to.
Yeah, I think that is the best summary. We don't need to, sell you a tale of, Fnatic the underdogs. Certainly not the case. They came in and played like the favorites, which they are. We'll be back after the break.
That was a shaky start for Fnatic, but they managed to lock it down in the second half and close everything out pretty dominantly. I'm Yingsu, and I'm here in the studio with Ryan and Kakuka. I was getting some Ascend deja vu. They're losing the opening 4 rounds, but the second half, that defense side is ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Even though Focus was able to get both pistols, there's nothing else that they could do on that attack. And especially on the first half of the map, as you said, that beginning with Focus getting 4 rounds and then Fnatic getting so many after that. I think that they got all of them but one. It was like, oh my god, is this going to be another 13-4, 13-5 just because of that one? And it came pretty close. I think that Durka had a brilliant performance. Instead of a little bit of Durka go kill, is Durka go anchor and just that.
I think for the attack as well, you sort of see like Fnatic struggling in the first few rounds, and with everything that's happened this weekend, you're thinking it can't happen to Fnatic as well, can it? But they turned it around. They had some really good adjustments, and kind of like you said as well, like seeing Viper back on this map as an option, it felt that the protocols for Fnatic on that defense were perfect, hence why they only dropped 2 rounds total, which was the pistol and the follow-up.
Yeah, everything came down, especially on the first half, to that fight that they were having over mid, where Yugi was forced out of his position, or forced to die most of the rounds after those first round. I was actually wondering if we were going to see more of this B executes, because there was one of them that we saw Boaster TP and up from, but then Viper. Yes, sorry, on A. And then the Viper Cloud goes down. I was like, oh, I wanted to see actually what was going to happen next. I was, on my mind with Hypo being like, can they try that again and actually see how that's going to be? A little bit too repetitive on the left side of the map, but as we said, when it came to the defense, it looked flawless.
I wanted to see the Reyna ult. That's what I wanted to see. Because I'm not understanding that pick.
Yeah, but honey, they haven't played this map ever. I don't think that they had this.
Fnatic have not played this map for a long time as well.
Yeah, but there's a difference between a long time with a team that is busting out everything, that everything is working, and they actually want to get some reps onto this before going on to playoffs, because just imagine that any other team picks it against them, to a team that has never played it, like not even consider it.
They would have definitely prepped on it, and I have to be the Lothar on the desk and say that I didn't like that Reyna, personally.
Yeah, it did sort of feel like they were just trying to see what would fit Yugi being able to opt. But all things considered, despite being like a strong Fnatic win on this map, I was still impressed with the aspects that I saw from Focus. I thought Vong, Booher, like on the Cypher, it makes me think that there's a lot more promise to Cypher being played on this map. And yeah, it's just like a shame that this Fnatic is in like Harlem Globetrotters form when it comes to how they're playing.
Is that the pinnacle of
it feels like, with how Alpha and Durka are playing,
comparison.
it feels like it's a sort of show match styling, but that's just because Fnatic are on another level.
Yeah, speaking of Durka, you know, I can't believe people are disappointed that Alpha only got 200 ACS. All of us are underwhelmed by the fact that he managed to pull that off. But like we said before, the layer of Fnatic right now is if Alpha is not performing, yeah.
I wouldn't say that he was not performing. I think that everything came down to Durka because he was able to always very reliantly find that first kill and find the opening for Fnatic and then just relax, freeze, let's see what we want to do. And Alpha, you know, still learning the map. I think that he had amazing rounds either way.
200 ACS is not enough.
Yeah.
He needs to get at least 300.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
And speaking of a lot of what Fnatic were able to do, Ryan, let's take a look at their attack even.
Yeah, so I think near enough every series that we've seen from Fnatic, they've had the Raze and Fade combo. Like 90% of the time, right, they've been playing those agents. And one of the reasons is just how well it can flush out certain players from playing on certain angles. So sorry, Yugi, you kind of got the short end of the stick in this one. So we'll sort of talk about why. We'll start off with this round, the first of many to highlight in this kind of scenario, where we see Yugi pushing into mid, trying to hold from the sort of ropes position with the operator. So the first bit of utility that comes out is this haunt. It's a nice little lineup from Enzo that comes in. And it does kind of force Yugi all the way back. With the operator in hand, it's hard for him to break it. And with that trail, he's forced to back out. He tries to regress, but runs into the boombot. And bear in mind, even if the boombot's not available, which it should be if you're pushing in mid, you still have these prowlers that can do the exact same thing on the side of a fade. There's so many little angles that you can funnel out, basically, to get out these rat players in particular. So that's just one example. The second, this is kind of the adaptation that is forced in from Focus, where your boy Lewis with a judge has to basically stand here and he's waiting for that haunt to come in yet again. And whilst that sort of solves the problem for Yugi being able to stay in on this angle, it does force them away, and it basically means that there's another gap in the map that Fnatic can exploit elsewhere, knowing that the Raze has to come in and save the day. But there's also times where Fnatic can really sort of toy with their opponent. This is round 11, similar sort of thing. Yugi playing in mid, sort of expecting that same utility to come in, so he's going to be holding. He even has that support coming in from your boy Lewis, and unfortunately, they run right into Durka, who's going to get the collateral on both of them. It is one of those cases where nothing seemed to work with Focus, but considering that was still something that we're not really, like Fnatic can't have prepped for that all that much, they adapted to it incredibly quickly.
Yeah, I missed that actually C's Pain Shell kind of combo that we actually have seen in other maps to come in and on mid, but hey, it's only so much that they can do. They were trying to test things. I think it was a nice test.
Yeah, definitely a way better performance than we saw the last time Fnatic played on this map at Masters and also playoffs as well. The next map, though, we're moving on to is going to be Bind. And honestly, we talk about certain eras in the history of VCT EMEA challenges. And wouldn't it be nice if we can go back to the days where Fnatic dominated this map? Because that's when they showed all of the nerdiness. That's where it came from.
Exactly, but that was, oh my God, we're old. That was a very, yeah. We're talking about a long time ago. But after that, it was Ascend actually taking it. And after G2 got that win onto them, it was Focus on the previous win that got the win also against them. So I can understand why they decided to go for this pick.
Yeah, I think as well, like, Bind is a map that's very open. There's no dominant team on it at the moment. And with, like, Fade coming in, like, she's probably been the biggest change when it comes to the meta, right? Her popularity has started to soar on this map. Raze was already pretty popular, so it would make sense that Fnatic, being a team that wants to play as much Fade as possible, and Enzo being a great leader on that kind of agent, that this could be where Fnatic can reclaim it, like Game of Thrones style, take control back from that map.
So the thing is who's going to be playing on the race? Are we going to see the chamber? Are we going to see maybe another Sentinel? We saw FPX doing it as well. So maybe some surprises on the side of Fnatic. Is there something new that they're going to try, or are they going to stick to the agents that they know are going to be pretty strong coming into playoffs?
What I will say, though, is out of all of the maps, obviously with the exception of the ones that were taken away, if Focus were going to come and at least take something away from Fnatic after the way they played against Ascend, I feel like they have a pretty good chance here.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that they play with the double duelists and the executes that they had, I think that they got 7 out of 8 rounds on the attack against Ascent. So I like it. I think that it has a lot of potential. We don't know on the other side if Fnatic is going to keep the double controller, how they're going to work around the roles now that they swapped them. It's a lot of questions. I understand why Focus is comfortable, because even before coming to VCT, this was a strong pick for them. But there is a big question on the other hand.
Yeah, Focus actually picking it and starting on the defense first, so Fnatic attacking first, which is interesting in itself, I suppose, all things considered. But I was
think that they don't want Focus to attack.
Yeah. That was the thing I was going to say. 7 out of 8 rounds that they won up against, like I said, it could have been more, but obviously they closed it out with the 13 rounds that they needed. Yeah, I think that like Focus, this is one of their bright maps, and so I think Fnatic need to sort of reclaim that form. And if they do, they get top seed, and their map pool is looking stellar.
Yeah, and this is where the anti-strat comes in, right? On Split, like you said, Kakuka, you cannot prepare for Focus whatsoever. But this is where I'm hoping that the Boaster mini combo, the Brainers, will actually come together and we see something a little bit smarter over here. We're heading into Agent Select now. You guys want to keep an eye out on what Fnatic are going to be selecting here, because I feel like none of us have an idea.
Yeah,
I feel like Fade, yes, but other than that, I don't really know.
Yeah, how important Vong is going to be, especially if he decides to go on that Sky defending B long, is going to be pinnacle. And of course, Enzo is going to be playing on the Fade.
Okay.
On Viper.
Okay.
So he's actually taking...
Okay.
He's actually taking Magnum's role here.
Wow.
I like this a lot. I think the Astra versus Brimstone's important because we've seen a lot of teams move to Omen instead of Brimstone as well. And I think a lot of it is just when Brimstone, you only have those 3 smokes, and you typically want to use 2 out of 3 of them for an execute. At least with Astra and Omen, you have a bit more time to work with. You're not going for these insta-fast executes. You want to play time. You want to try and adapt around the map. Boaster on an agent like Astra, I'm very curious to see some of the mind games that are going to be at play with placing on stars and what they can do.
The post plants are going to be nasty.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, completely. I mean, all the chances that Dirk is going to have with both Boaster and Enzo to get those micro plays is going to be just jumping around the sites. I still remember Dirk on showers. I still have nightmares with that, and I know I'm not the only one.
Yeah, I think given that they've never played against each other, I feel like they would have at least done their homework on Fnatic in that sense to not give him that kind of control.
Yeah, I'm just very excited to see what Focus can do overall when it comes to, are they going to take this series? Hard to say, but like stress out Fnatic a bit more. Like you want to see, they've been pretty dominant so far in the groups. You do want to see Fnatic sweat a little bit just to see them adapt and overcome.
And I'm excited to see Alfia on the Viper. He has no double satchels now to get in and out, so this is going to be a real test. Yeah, going to be a real test on how he's going to do here. Of course, Fnatic, if they win here, they will secure themselves the top seed out of Group A. Pansy and Hypog, I'm very excited. Take us through Bind.
Okay, let's get into things, Mike. Tell me some ways that Focus can get back into this game, because I know that the Deaths was kind of talking about the lack of it being played to some degree by certain to certain extents, but it's still Fnatic. Just pound for pound, you have 2 of arguably the best firepower players in the game. Is there a real world where this can happen for Focus?
I mean, there's hope. This is a much more comfortable place to be playing from for Focus, but the pressure's on, especially with Fnatic cooking up another composition here that makes me believe we're going to see a little Summon FC magic. If we're in for a history lesson today, this would be the one to see it.
Well, Focus starting out with a proactive beginning already, but you can see on the other side there's no finesse or depth to it really thus far. It's go long, and it's worked quite well. Flash, not bad. But the site's Fnatic's.
So I'm curious here to see how Focus address the backline. They've already got bodies in place for it. Lewis and Yugi are going to be key in that regard. Enzo, I don't know, he's actually going to swing onto this. Finds a clean angle on the first, but we'll be able to slow things down with the tether. Actually, Yugi finds the first, and Enzo finds 2 in response.
Yeah, good little trade out in the end by Enzo. keeping them stuck in place. Flash towards CT, timing's great for the swing. You can see that Booch is trying to tuck himself towards CT, but the trades are coming out here, and Vong's gonna need something magical. Tries to move forward, even just see Enzo. Not utility work from him. Controlling long was essential.
It was. I mean, good indicator early on from Focus to address the backline. A little bit of an unorthodox setup initially, and Fnatic actually able to navigate their way around that, giving them a free site. At least the plant through onto the free site. Whether or not that trend will continue, because, I mean, similar to what we were talking about earlier on today, the lack of a traditional sentinel here, they have to be conscious of that flank control.
Certainly do. I just want to see how Althea looks on that Viper as well. That's always kind of curious. On the other side, it will be Butcher waiting. And actually gets a chance at it. Sadly for him, it is Durka, so the chances are slim to none. Yep. Spike plant goes in.
Spike planted.
And Fnatic just going through the motions.
A couple of sheriffs here to work with in the hands of Lewis and Yugi once again. Not that they can find anything, but expect Fnatic to tuck in.
Grenade!
Not risk too much here in terms of the post plant. Actually, Durka. Still close to there. Mystic will find a killing response, so the flash comes through. Here comes the pinch onto backside. And it is indeed flawless here for Fnatic. Look at a lot more comfortable here and willing to actually take things at a much, I mean, faster pace, which would be difficult for Focus to handle.
Yeah. And I think this is the thing, like, would their bind, let's say Fnatic's bind, hold up against, a top-end tier 1 team? Probably not. But would it be in the map pool? Probably not. So, again, I'm just waiting to see if Focus have anything to disrupt this. Force discomfort among Fnatic, I think, is the main thing I want to see. Push them a little bit here, but this is the first big test, is can they deal with the bonus round? Does Fnatic have anything in store that's unique to this?
Interested to see if there is something they can employ to convert this one. Well, I'm curious as to where that snakebite is going. Whether or not it's going to land into Hooker or towards Garden. It's going towards Garden, Lauren.
Yeah, that's going to force them into the fight. That damage is ridiculous. That could have been huge.
I mean, if Durka posts the paint show at the same time there, and absolute faith that the snakebite will catch one or two people, that it's potentially a kill for free.
That's so geeky.
I'll have to go back and look at Durka's position there to see if there was a possibility, even just to bounce it off the wall or...
But these little geeky setups, you kind of love to see it.
I said, if you're in for a history lesson, this is where you can have one for Fnatic.
There's a second one.
That goes off the top side.
This guy's a geek in all the right ways. And Illyri's just scolded, just walking out with chemical burns. This is a really nice looking round for Fnatic so far. Dirk has got 3. And he's got himself the upgrade to the rifle and he's holding CT to make sure that plant stays safe. Both players will be coming through from this side. If they aren't on red alert, they will be soon, because look who's taking the fight. It's Durka. Almost going to get the ace, but no. TV1 in Butcher's hands. 30 HP. Does have a rifle, but as does Alfire at this point.
And tuck themselves into elbow. Want to make Butcher work for this one. 30 HP left. They don't really need to risk an awful lot. They can even just swing one by one off this spike tap if they wish. Prowler will actually confirm.
Lovely.
He's sticking it, but actually the reveal comes through as well. So Butcher's aim, well, days are numbered, I should say. That one comes through. Fnatic, a great conversion of the bonus set. Like I said, expecting with a composition like this, with Fnatic to be able to cook something up. We've already seen a couple of pieces of real magic here. I'm not there's going to be any variations to that. Like I said, Durka in a position to ultimately find 2 kills off a paint shell if that's something they want to try and put in, or a gravity well, something else to make that take towards B long even better.
I would say as well, something that we haven't spoken about too much, but again, Enzo's utility work on Fade especially has been exemplary. And there's been a couple of other players who've done well, I'd say. But for me, just seeing it, like, it feels like he's very comfortable already. The post plants are deadly. You saw it on the first map, how constantly, basically every player from Focus was struggling to not be revealed. It's been really nicely implemented with him so far. And again, you know, when you look at this roster, obviously you'll get Alfire and Durka being your headliners, but he's certainly finding his role. But Fnatic heading over towards that A site, and already that surely ain't no surprise anymore. Yugi barely alive and able to get away. Oh, they already spammed him out anyway.
Yeah, this is looking clinical from Fnatic. Not so much there. Alluri will find the response, brings it to a 3v3, and actually 2 rifles in hand now for Focus. Vong still down on the Sheriff. Alpha, yeah, actually gonna wrap back around this, and it could actually stop.
TP again.
Butcher, they spot each other. And Alpha,
no.
still wins it.
TP.
Now they can TP back. Oh, that's excruciating. They both had such awkward timing on each other.
Yep.
30 seconds left.
Right, Flan going down. And you thought there was that little chance in this. Alpha's got a shorty. And really, it's just unfair. Fnatic literally running rings around Focus right now.
Oh, and even just at the start of that, great catch by the observers as well, but the snake bite coming through just to make sure that A site hit had a little bit of a secondary objective here. It's actually to set up Boaster. I didn't even notice him actually coming through. Booster actually ends up winning that 1v1. I think he was way out of range of the snake bite, but... And that's the sort of thing you see with some of these Fnatic executions, is there's so many different layers.
Yeah.
So many different small pieces that make it easier. Well, another little setup here for A here, actually. Yugi going to try and counter that with the operator. He's the one. I mean, he shot it. The operator's... I don't think he actually connected with it. His teammate dealt with it, but
yeah,
he's revealed the operator is the key point here, which should act as a massive deterrent for Fnatic. Also want to re-aggress behind this. Yugi's still tucked in. He's still got his dash available as well.
And Yugi doubling down on this. It's worked out this time.
That's a big pick.
He's found Boaster, and that is imperative. Does he get to keep his life? It looks like he does as well. Gets to back away, so player advantage, no quick trade, and no punishment.
I've got your train.
Yugi's invested, actually, the orbital strike to split them up, but Vong still falls on the back of the showstopper. Actually, Durka's got it all to do here, separated from his team, but he's doing so well. He's found Yugi as well.
He's just battling his way through. The absolute berserker of Durka, going to find as much as he can, but he leaves it to the others. Alfire going to take up the mantle when needed, leaving just Boucher alive, and he's in CT. He's got a ways to go. So many potential problems and angles to clear. No one giving him a first fight either. I wonder when the swing comes in. Mystic's just walking it. Fair enough. Gonna get the first. And there's Alfire ready for the trade. And Fnatic continue on as intended. As you can see, scoreline-wise, it's looking good. And as I said, I'd say a lesser player would have been punished or maybe not have reaped the rewards, right? Because Durka got isolated from the others. It didn't do everything you'd want, but it did a fair amount. But then there we are, you know, punished.
He's got the benefit of double satcheling in. The showstopper, ultimately, you know, Focus are going to be backpedaling, desperately trying to get away from that. Still finds the first. Like I said, when he's split, he's still doing damage. He's still suppressing 2 players to back site to make sure that the rest of his team can swing through short. So a lot of that round just rides on Durka, not just finding the kill, but applying enough pressure to allow the rest of Fnatic to swing through. Actually, what's key is here, because what Fnatic have already demonstrated, Focus are going to be kind of defaulting towards playing anti-plant, right? Trying to deny some of this post-plant strength that Fnatic have, and Yugi actually coming ahead. He also wants to deny and execute, because they've already shown that how well choreographed some of these pieces are, some of the utility placement, so precise. So Focus have to do something to remove numbers. They have to actively find these opening duels. They can't let Fnatic stack up as 5 and have one of these, you know, well-rehearsed executions come together, because I mean, it's a 5v2 with that precise a utility investment.
You're done.
The odds are stacked against you time and time again.
Yeah. I mean, when we talked about disrupting Fnatic on this map, I mean, you could even take that literally into the round. You got to do something here, because right now, if I'm not mistaken, Enzo and Alpha are yet to die. So not really disrupting much. They're actually having a very comfy game. Lewis trying to get involved. Problem is, you can see where these players are tucked, and they're expecting the aggression. Durka more than capable, but didn't expect the second layer of Vong, so does well enough. The punish on the other side, both are going to catch Lewis doing similar scenes. So they still get to keep the player advantage here.
And the problem being, this is the round that Focus are looking to address that, and the strength of this default from Fnatic now, they're almost anticipating it. Spread so thin, they're able to greet the aggression on both extremities, rewarded for it. We'll just leave Alluri and Vong now. And it's the perfect read from Fnatic. They know they're going to try and double down on this aggression. Mystic will catch a headshot, but should be just about it. I mean, the spike making its way towards A. They've even got time to come and retrieve an orb. Make sure that Enzo can potentially get one away. No, don't think he'll get the plant. No 300 credits for you.
Unlucky.
That's going to break the game plan there for Fnatic, actually.
He's gutted. Could have waited on that, boys.
Mystic, you got to play time there. You got to play time there, Mystic.
Think about it, mate. 6-0. This is getting to be one of those games that's quite hard to watch.
It is. It's tough now, especially with that round in particular. The previous Yugi's rewarded for drifting out short. Looking like we might get a little bit of geek here at the start.
Show me the geeky setups. Where do they go? What do they do?
The one towards Lamps there, the poison orb, at least the reveal for close. I think actually in anticipation of Yugi getting a little aggressive towards Cubby once again, but he's not there. It's dealt with.
And to be fair, I think that's quite an echoed statement, even from map 1, how marked Yugi was really by Enzo. He was finding it very hard to find space. And be, hello. That's a boaster waiting, but you pushed that, and you
still wins it! Ooh. He only took one tag. I mean, Vong's desperate to try and get something done there.
Good. And there's Yugi once again, just eating every bit of Fade utility possible. Spike's now down. 5 still stand. And Focus are looking a little shaky here. But that's a good start, though. Lewis winning out the fight towards Lambs, taking down Durka, could give them a way back into this. But there is still the ult keeping them safe.
And the reveal. Mystic nearly gets the punish on the wallbang there. Showstopper invested, but actually found nothing there from Lewis.
A little bit wonky on placement, but his post is still standing. Gets out of that. 2v2. Enzo's still alive. Good shot towards Lewis. And Yugi dives on in. Punishes Boaster, but time. He's run out of it, and, well, Enzo knows it. Some style points for sure on the kill on Boaster, but beyond that, the scoreline continues.
The timings are perfect as well for Enzo to be able to be in a position to invest one reveal and still have it then for the Viper's Pit to try and get a wallbang through here. The utility is on point from him on this fade. Poster almost having a jump scare there with Yugi. It was one of those moments you pray the player cams have dropped for a moment.
Just hoping they don't catch it, man. Can't be trusted. And here's that early work, but this time you can see them committing, so you can see the intent behind this. It's brilliant. Now, luckily for Yugi, it works out at least for the first, but you can see that in perfect motion. Mike, talk me through exactly what that was.
Really? Yeah, they got farmed. They're trying to get aggressive again. Like I said, they have to get ahead of these executes. And these rounds here where it's kind of a throwaway, throw a couple of sheriffs in, just look to try and disrupt some of that early round setup from Fnatic. Same reveal comes through once again. Absolutely punished for it. This is looking clinical from Fnatic. Everything is well considered. There's no surprises really with, I mean, Boaster all day has been planting seeds that we're going to see something special in today's series. And it looks like they've been cooking something up on Bind for a while now.
And I like this. I like the early protocols. And is this the pinch now towards B long? That's what I'm curious about. Yugi, let's see if there's anything to kind of combo with this. And maybe it's just to force him off the angles. Again, if you're looking at this from the perspective of someone with an operator or someone who's trying to get proactive, short is inaccessible from the start. You can't really peek B long. It's actually kind of smothering on this map. Lewis does well to find Durka, but again, we're looking for more than that. Yugi finally freedom. Punishing Mystic. But Boaster's, I think, spotted a barrel. Lewis might be dead here. He absolutely is. Boaster's just bested him. Like, yet to be recovered, though.
Moment here, Yugi actually going to swing this end zone. Good for the first and for the second as well. Alluri will fall, giving Fnatic the man advantage once again. Both are in a position. Get this spike down. Actually, he's going to wait. He's going to try and draw this out a little bit longer. The flash comes through, though. Should reveal the intention here. Big win for Vong, though. A second as well. Alpha, yeah. Last man standing. Seeker invested. Going to try and swing onto it.
Some bullet sticks.
Thank God for that. Vong will close it out, put Focus's first round on the board. Then actually retrieve the operator, but what a bloodbath that was. The crazy thing to note as well, that snake bite coming through, you have to respect it because the Trailblazer's coming through. That thing does damage as well, remember?
Yeah.
With the vulnerable, that could be a big chunk. The thing is, this almost feels like information overload for Fnatic on the way in. The Nightfall's invested, the Seekers are invested at exactly the same time. It's actually crazy that Lewis and Yugi both find kills in that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That round looked sewn up, but no, absolutely. Fight still in him. It takes some individual. Oh dear, Boaster's eating that completely. He's still. It's fine. He's all right. No, he's not.
Clean engagement. Just walk away, Boaster. Be the bigger man.
Just
be the
reset
bigger
the
man
fight.
and walk away.
All good. Oh.
Well, these are the sorts of kills that are gonna.
Fair enough.
Just through smokes, a little bit of damage done early to Boaster. These are the things that ultimately are gonna make things very difficult to set up for one of these executes. I'm not sure. Actually, the UI still says Boaster's at 100 HP, but I'm pretty sure that's inaccurate.
I don't trust it.
No.
But
Well, he's got the heal back from Mystic. I thought Mystic was still on long, actually, but
fair enough. Then he's sitting pretty. And he ain't no link. Orbital strike gonna come in, gonna keep them at bay for now. Maybe buy a couple of seconds, but it's on Yugi pretty much here. If they do decide to just fountain up Alpha here on this lurk, is filth, absolute filth. Can they get a
30
punish on
seconds
it?
left.
You still have to wait for this to be activated. Luri.
he's
He's
so
dead,
sharp,
and now
man.
paranoia. Now there's problems. Yugi's going walkabout.
Boaster spotted
He's
him.
having a look elsewhere.
Boaster-
That should be the safest. Yugi, where are you? Oh no way! They've absolutely nutmegged them.
Focus looking a little bamboozled right there. Yugi being spotted. Fnatic able to get right back behind that. It's the timing of the kill on A as well that makes it even more difficult for Focus. That's why Yugi goes exploring.
Can't blame him for it. You can just see how frustrating it is to play against someone like Alpha here who's delivered in that, and Boaster's timing can be great here as well. Yeah, making sure Vong didn't get away with any more. Alpha here to seal it. It's 9-1 now. Scoreline's a bit one-sided.
A little bit, yeah. And even after, I mean, I was noted, I thought Mystic was still set up in the traditional default towards B long with his Trailblazer as the flash going through, but they can't even follow through on that early damage onto Boaster. They reset so quickly to get him back to full strength. Durka takes a little bit of poke in Hookah, but it's just not enough. These are the sorts of things, like I said, the kills through smoke, the damage at the start of the round with, some of these spams through the Viper wall. That's the sort of thing that's going to weaken this game plan from Fnatic. But honestly, it's the damage mitigation in the early round from Fnatic. They're happy to sit so deep for the first 10 to 15 seconds.
Now, Fnatic going to be given a little bit more space to work in here. Going to get at least noting 2 players on the site itself. Good flash, going to force Yugi just slightly further away and isolate Lewis. Now, Diddley's get the paint shell out before his death. Sends this one, Durka. Unfortunate to not find the connection, but the rifle's fine, so it's all good.
You are divided. Last player standing.
Oh, Vong.
What's left
Good
in
luck.
the tank, Vong?
Go on. Not gonna be.
This is absolutely textbook. Dare I even say this is probably some of the best orchestration we've seen from Fnatic, which is a statement in itself. A team that constantly it re-innovates themselves like this. This is looking really, really good.
No, it certainly isn't. And I think taking context outside of this game alone, the fact that other teams will look at this, obviously, and then look at Fnatic's map pool and see strength here now. And we don't know how this compares up against an established tier 1 team, but you can see the structure is there to look good against it.
The scary thing is how much of this, what's the depth of this?
Yeah,
like how many different
go?
variations do we see to some of this innovation, which is always the terrifying thing from Fnatic, which last few times, I've got to say, even with a couple of honeymoons, we didn't see this. We definitely didn't see this.
No. So this is certainly gonna. I'd love to see this come into the map pool again for Fnatic when we get deeper into the run to going towards international events. Like this sort of look to me really exciting, but we need more proof to. Obviously, we need to see the absolute capability of it in full force. But as a first glimpse, as a first look, really nice to the eye test. Again, similar set piece towards B, at least to do the initial work. And now the Seeker's going to be sent down off the back and. Again, the pinch is just graceful. Vong, no comfort to be found. Has to back away. Durka flies on in. Pucha having to just try and track him out of the sky, and it's a brawl, but it's still a 2v2. And Enzo's pushing CT.
Enemy remaining.
Probably shouldn't have done that.
Mystic wants to face it. He's just got to land one bullet here. Does Lewis post it blind? He's still got to find it. As he comes through, lands it on. Focus will find their second. One of the few positives to take away from that one as Fnatic close out 10-2.
Yeah, this is. I feel like this is just an enjoyment of what could be in the future. And I really hate the fact this could be such a sour note for Focus because they have been exceptionally good during the season. You know what I mean? But they've had such a brutal run. I still think they're one of the teams for me to look out for in the future, and I hope they stay as a 5, right? That you actually get to see them in their full capability once they get more in that experience, because at the moment you are seeing Fnatic in probably that geeky form that caught loads of people out, right? Like this is, back a little bit of a rollback to that. But again, it's hard without context. Do we know if this works against, quote unquote higher end teams? Does this look as good? Do they have that depth of adaptation? That's what we're here to find out. For now, though, we go back in on the second half, and it is 2-10. Fnatic, the dominant first half, and now looking to close on the second. Oh, Bong's very dead.
No more Viper.
The TP pinch is beautiful. Gives Fnatic now a one-man advantage, a 3v2. Spike's still in hand, though. Durka and Boaster go exploring elsewhere. Again, you got to note the Enzo utility on the back of that. That's what enables that showers crunch from the TP. Alfia actually gets himself in the corner. It still wins that. He was down to 40 HP.
No right. Absolutely none. Boaster's going to sit in the most uncomfortable position possible for Lewis. And he wants to get a bit of a wiggle on. Lewis is not being particularly subtle about this, and look at these angles. So hard to clear for Lewis here as well. Decides to check the back lines. No one's there. We know where Fnatic are waiting. Can he find a clean fight? I don't think they're going to let him.
30 seconds left.
He finds a safe plant at least. Safe for now. It's already there. There it is. I mean, it was waiting patiently. Fnatic not going to make errors at this point. It's 11 now.
Durka's still got a paint shell to work with, by the way. After all that at that point, so
good.
The fact that he finds a plant, yes, it's still difficult to reset away from that. Another beautiful round for Fnatic. So well orchestrated on the back of Enzo's utility, and actually Focus a team that heavily favor this showers control very early on. Usually your boy Lewis, the one to kind of put that together or be the front runner in that regard. So I love that, even just an element of an anti-strat, just the awareness to come through and address that in the pistol round. It's great stuff from Fnatic.
Here.
Okay, good early info find. Gonna let Enzo post up on this. Actually sits at a bit of a deeper angle. Has to respect it now. Forced away from the first, but you can see the Mystic isn't backing. Great flash. Commits to it and just doesn't quite get it. Illuri just bests him at this job now. Already, the wall's gonna go up. Spots one pushing in. This is dangerous. They're on the side. Yuki's trying to hunt this down. This is not bad. And Focus, desperate need for it.
Enzo nearly caught the second on the reveal there as well. Face shells come through to front sight.
Spike planted.
Booster absolutely forehead camming this. And he does go down. Lewis can at least maintain control for now. Enzo, the last one alive in a 1v3. A little bit of utility to play with. And actually gets to isolate the fight towards Lewis. Now the step towards site. He's got to know one's close, but eats the flash. And then the double face. Focus going to try and keep the scoreline, I don't know, a step closer. I don't know what you're really hoping for here, because you're against 11. It's such a long road back.
It is indeed. And the force up almost a necessity at that point. To keep themselves alive for the time being. Sure, I mean, actually, if Fnatic were any of these setups here, they could try and guarantee a free kill here just on the back of utility, potentially a shorty in the hand of Alpha, yeah.
Money's tight. This could be a window of opportunity. Focus to try and get another on the board, right? Essential to their road back into this. But it has to be somewhat having no mistakes to it. And a gamble rotation coming in. Okay. So Lewis, you have to deal with Alpha here, who's... Oh! Lewis feeling like he's got a free haircut off that one.
I'm going to clear through. Yugi actually on the back of that will find the kill onto Durka. Fnatic's going to look to try and absorb this the best they can. Maybe even just try and pop flash out of this smoke. Yugi will find another though. Dealt with finally, but the damage already done here. Fnatic. I don't think they can get anything else done here. Actually, the tether might catch something on default, but no follow through just yet. Alpha, yeah, we'll find a massive kill actually in Lamps.
Yeah, need some more of that, but Enzo, oh my word, he tried it. He tried real hard in that, and you're right. Without Fire finding that little bit of a shot coming through against Lewis, seeming to hunt each other down across the map, got a little scared, but okay. 4-11. The next challenge, rifles out, right? Now you look at the ults coming through as well. Mystic and Enzo, both of theirs to play with. Yugi's not far from his, neither is Lewis, so a little bit of a chance here for Focus to do something with it, but it has to be this round, Mike. There's no way back if you're on 12 against Fnatic. No shot.
So no, I mean, benefit being a couple of these key ultimates coming online. Notably, the Blade Storm and the Showstopper, but Mystic opened this one up already, finding the first blood. Durka's coming through from short. They're pinching once again, Lauren.
No respect to Focus, just sheer and utter brutality from Fnatic. As Poster finds Lewis, and now it's Luri on the other side of the map. But that spike is in showers. So he may have the ult, but he has one of the toughest tasks to date to find 4 of these players, recover that spike, and somehow get this round in your favor.
Somehow, yeah.
Oh, it's not looking
Luri
good.
going to fall at the first hurdle potentially here. Actually will win out versus Enzo, but still a 1v3 presents itself.
Now, I guess the small benefit is there'd be very few trades to this, but Luri has to read it. Oh, and I thought he might have had the read on that. He was looking real diligent towards it, but not gonna have much of a fight left in, and the 3 of them was just too many at the end. And 12-4, it had to have been that last round. If you look at the money now, it's not good. It's really not good.
I did note a couple of these key ultimates to offset this purchase a little bit. The Blade Storm available, the Showstopper online, Orbital Strike as well, and actually the Viper's Pit and the Seekers here. The only saving grace is that Focus have that to fall back on, but you look at the other side as well. Fnatic booming in terms of this ult cycle and looking to get proactive once again.
It's all the things we asked for, isn't it? The proactive play, lovely little flash that actually confirms he's there as well. Like, oh,
2 big kills for Yugi.
Massive, critical to the outcome. He might give them another round to work with, but finding 2 is perfect. This puts Fnatic finally on the back foot, because it feels like they've been leading this pace the whole way through.
If you can get anything else done here. We'll actually find another kill onto Enzo here. 21 HP. Has to get out of there, though. Durka and Boaster left. Both are
Bo's gotta know.
he's gonna hear an awful lot behind that Trailblazer as well. Durka. What was
How
that?
does he even see him? How does he even see him? I couldn't tell you. It is still Durka.
Bo's
And
found
Bosa
another.
denies the plant. That's huge to the outcome of this round. And Durka gets away. He pulls the dodge.
30 seconds left.
And now there's a real chance of this. The Spike is making a mad dash
No
tricks. They know
way!
they're in danger. And they've punished too. Yugi and Lewis go down. It's all on Butcher. He wants the Spike plant. He should be able to get it.
He's got the
But
Viper
this-
stick with the plant though.
Pops
Yes,
it.
invest it.
Yeah.
You have to get
Oh
this
my
on the
God.
board.
But he's tipping towards CT. Post has loaded him. He's got the shot. And Durka's 1 HP. There's no shot. What? Durka! The 1 HP clutch.
What is that? Boaster and Durka just flipped a 2v5 to win this one. What on earth is that, Lauren?
I don't know, dude. I don't
Defenders
know.
win.
There's no way they should have been able to do that.
I mean, it's heartbreaking for Focus. Like I said, their
Yeah.
run has been cursed from the get-go. I gotta say it. They were robbed of one victory, but I think they've potentially lost to, dare I say it, one of the best teams in the world today. In terms of that
Sure.
performance from Fnatic, that was textbook Valorant. It was beautiful to watch.
No, you're absolutely right. And I think, once again, I don't want this to tarnish how good Focus have been across the board. It's been something very enjoyable to watch. I think a lot of people have enjoyed it. However, something that has been enjoyable is a lot of the individuals on that Fnatic side. And down below, you get to pick your player of the match. Do make sure you get involved in that and let us know who you thought stood out to you. Durka, Alpha, Enzo. Plenty of good options to go for. You know, 2 now that are pretty solid in this. But again, a great performance from Fnatic and glimpses of what feels like maybe a previous Fnatic in form, but we have to see how that fares against the very top end of the rest of the world. However, that's enough from us. We're going to be heading back to the desk after this break to wrap up the day.
What a dominant series that was for Fnatic. They locked themselves in as the first seed out of their group for the second time here at VCT Challengers EMEA, and they're still unbeaten. This win streak, it just keeps going, and it does feel like they're getting even better, which is pretty scary for everybody in Group B.
Yeah, exactly. It's not only that, the fun that they're having in the server, we see it every single time that we look at the cameras. Everybody's having fun. They do not have much to worry about because almost everything that they seem to try, even if it doesn't work one round, they will swap it around and change a little bit for the next one.
Just nice wins over on Split, and then Bind is making Fnatic, it almost like, how can a team be this good currently? Especially with so many other teams looking incredibly wonky. The fact that Fnatic is winning out these series so dominantly says a lot about their chances, right? They're in such a prime position, have G2 next week who have nothing to play for. That should still be a fun match to watch, and Fnatic still bringing a lot to the table.
Yeah, exactly. They secured everything, but there were still some things that we saw on Bind that were pretty peculiar. We were seeing Boaster playing on the Astra, and I remember that at the beginning of the rounds on the attack, he was set a couple of stars at the entrance of showers, and he would retire them before the round actually started, just to give that fake feeling of, if you're going to go on the aggressive, maybe you're going to find a nade coming from us, maybe a little bit of micro, and you cannot take it. But also on the defense, he was doing the same on A short, and you know, they were still trying stuff. It's not like they were just feeling like they were already winners.
Yeah.
The nerdiness were at full pelt, though. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see just silly setups where you can just tilt your opponent into losing, essentially, where you're just being hit with utilities left, right, and center. And dare I say it, Ryan, you wanted a team to be able to reclaim a throne on their home ground. I'm down to have the Fnatic era once again, because Ascend, they had a chance, but they couldn't do it.
Well, it's either that or big, considering they beat me. But also, like, it's just the fact that, like, Fnatic dominate against Focus, and Focus absolutely dumpstered Ascend on this map, right? And it used to be like Ascend in...
So that's the correlation.
Yeah, right? So it's sort of like the pecking order of it at the moment. There's still a lot, like, internationally, but I think that the fact that this is probably the biggest map when it comes to being able to play it or ban it. Like, teams will be like, we're not going to allow you to play this map at all. So if Fnatic have multiple ones of them, then they're going to be rolling.
Yeah, and one player that completely popped up today, of course, is Durka. I say today, popped off this entire year is Durka. We have him right now for a quick post-match interview. Hi, Durka. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Hello. Congratulations. Your first seed again. Last season, you guys got first seed. This time, you've kind of run it back again. Talk me through your thoughts after doing it after such a dominant performance against Focus.
So basically, this was like a playoff game for us because it advances us to top 1 seed and gives us like a huge advantage in the bracket later. So we wanted to win this match and we went like full serious, even though like we knew Focus has nothing to lose. So we knew we have to like push it through and basically just play our game to do that.
I will say that you've been really popping off, but today in particular, you're playing some of the best Valorant we've ever seen you play. How much is that down to the bold buff? And tell me, what is the bold buff?
Bold buff is basically when you shave your head and then you get 2 KD every map, which worked for me in ranked and in this official too, and helps us, so I don't mind. If it helps us winning, why not?
Well, you have the bold buff. You have quite a few buffs going on right now. You know, what else is happening? Why are you guys winning everything? And why do you think you guys are unstoppable right now?
Yeah, fun. We are having fun with everyone. Turkish buff too. Both helps with like nice strats, and it's just like everything clicks together. Enzo helps out both, and it's just like so much. It's so much easier for me to help to bolster and also to play in my new like role that I also like a lot, and I feel like that just like everything clicked for us and we just became like much better than before. And also like everybody is hungry, especially me, because I missed the last event due to COVID. So like it means a lot for me that we get top 1 seed and try to qualify again.
And in terms of qualifying as top 1 seed and also having everything that's going well for you, you were in the same position last season, right? You guys were still unbeaten. You were the best team in your group too. What would you say is the major difference for you as a player right now compared to you, I guess, a couple of months ago?
I think before I felt like I have some like more weight on my shoulders than now, and now kind of like everyone helps me with it. Everyone got into form, and also like I just feel like everyone puts much more work than before. Like me, Boaster, and Mist, I think we also like put a lot of more effort than we did before because we are more hungry to win as we lost a lot.
And lastly, Durka, no surprises here. You're player of the match on a very important game for you to secure your first seed. How do you feel about
that? Thank you. It's, I think, pretty normal.
It's true, yeah. We've had you here for quite a few times. And lastly, very quickly, who do you think is actually going to be the biggest challenge for you, whether domestically, internationally? What team is actually going to be able to take you, maybe even beat you right now?
Yield probably. They look strong. I want to play them, and also I want to play against like my friend Safe too. I think that will be a cool matchup too, and they're top 1 seed, so it will be like super cool for me.
Cool. Yeah, we hope to see it for sure at playoffs. Congratulations once again, Durka, and we'll see you back here next week.
Yeah, thank you.
I absolutely love that. Yesterday, Twiston, your player of the match. How does it feel? Oh no, they was on my team. Durka, your player of the match. Yeah, and like
normal day at the office.
It's pretty normal. Yeah.
I have a question. If what happens if Alpha here shaves his head?
Oh my god. Okay, I think I think that's like the ultimate. We have to make sure that he does that before they play NA. I think we have to make.
And they qualify.
Everybody has to be bold on Fnatic.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, Boasters wanted to go bold for a long, long time, and I keep telling him that's not going to help him. He needs much more than just the bold buff. But I think maybe that's the play. Yeah. Everybody turns up on LAN like that. But I like that he said right at the end they want to play against Guild, because as we've seen today, the both first seed qualifying games were very, very, very different.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it's only that. I think it's also the fact that Guild was acknowledging, Save was telling us that they know that they didn't have the best of performances today. It's good that Fnatic sees through that and sees to the potential of the counterplay and actually the preparation that Guild would put if they were actually going to go against Fnatic.
It's still like weeks of effort, right, for Guild to make that top seed. I think, you know, you look at their result against Liquid, still went to a free map and dropped maps a couple of times here or there. You still sort of look at it and go, yeah, like Guild, I do think looks like the strongest team in that group by a margin. But like FPX have been looking good. Ascend might be starting to get back in form after they've made their changes. I think them three and Guild is going to be like the top 4 out of those 3. Who's going to qualify? No idea.
I mean, next week, what's really exciting is we're going to be able to find out the seed 2 and 3 from Group B. And you really, really, really want to avoid Fnatic, I feel like, if you're in that situation. But of course, the seed 3 of Group A also have a chance to face Fnatic.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is that we need to advise people, why are we saying this? Why is it so important that either FPX or SN get that win? And it's because they will be put on the same part of the bracket if they ended up on C3. So it's a team that you have already lost against. It's the team that everybody is very scared of at the moment. Do you feel like you're ready to go up against that, or do you want to take the run and go against Guild?
I think the good thing about today as well is, like, whilst we saw 2 maps that we've not seen in a while for Fnatic, they didn't really show all that much. There's some cool lineups, but I think that there was still an element of Fnatic going, we don't need to use these strategies or these defaults today because we're like 10-2 up at the half. We can save these for a rainy day.
I think that the important part that they wanted to probably prove or actually practice is, let's just adapt to the opponent. Let's see what they bring onto the table. We know that we want to play with this composition. How are we going to face all the problems that we're going to find in the server? And they did.
Sometimes I feel like when it comes to having a permaban, it's a little bit iffy because if you have a permaban, your opponents are going to force you to play things you're a little bit weak at. But I feel like Fnatic have just taken the approach of, we have a permaban and we're just going to be insane on every map, so it doesn't really matter after that.
I don't know why they permaban Breeze, because they always look like they're on vacation. Like, I do not know why I would permaban Icebox, but they're also brilliant there. They give us a 13-0. I still think that maybe we even get to see that Breeze of players, or maybe they are preparing it. They're trying to save it for Masters.
Yeah, I think them and FPX have the best map pools currently in EMEA. So if we, like, say for example, we see them in a best of 5 like grand finals of EMEA, that's a best of 5 you do not want to miss if that comes to pass.
Ooh, the script. Ryan's written the script already.
It doesn't matter. They will ban Breeze again.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I feel like the last time they played Breeze, it wasn't great. I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember feeling like, oh, this is why they banned Breeze. Okay, fair enough. But these two are gonna have a look. We're gonna move into the post show in a second. I'm not sure what is happening right now. Maybe there's more Pampok tech pause, which is what we had all day today. Yeah, it was against G2. It wasn't great, was it? No,
I think it's when G2 was starting to play the Chamber, Jet, and everybody was like, oh my god, Fnatic was like, yeah, this is not ready. It was a 13-9. It's not the end of the world.
And the Enrico tech pause is now like sponsored by producer Enrico.
Yeah, everyone on Twitter is going to be like hashtag Enrico.
It makes it sound like it's his fault, which is the bad side.
You know what? You've given too much lip there, because Enrico just said to my ear that all of the issues have been solved. We have no issues here actually, and we're going to move on to the post show with Minnie from Fnatic, I believe. Boom, boom, boom.
You believe that Minnie?
We should do a post show with Enrico.
Oh, hey, Minnie.
Minnie,
hey.
Hi. Welcome to the
Hello.
show. I gotta say, it's nice to see you smiling, because a lot of the times when Fnatic are playing, I know you can be a little bit stressed out. The boys are not doing the things that you're telling them to do. But today, though, it couldn't have gone better, right? Everything went pretty perfectly.
It doesn't feel like that when you're watching, though. Like, I mean, the scores were pretty one-sided, I think. But I didn't feel like that. Like, every round is, they're not a bad team, So it didn't feel like that. We had to pull some rounds out that we probably shouldn't have had to pull out. So yeah. No, it's too stressful, Sue.
I know.
Yeah.
I can tell. Yeah.
What was the most stressful round? What was the most stressful round that you remember from today?
The last 2 rounds on defense bind, closing out the game. So we pushed jungle, which is like middle. And we got like 3 opening kills in a 5v2, and then we pushed, and then 2 people died. And I'm like, what? Like, it's so like I don't want to strangle them. I'm like, why not just make that clean? And then 12-4, we're calling like we want to do like a long B push, and then there's like communication errors about like who's going to drop someone a gun, and then basically 2 people push long B without a fade reveal, which is like the strat, and we just die and lose. I'm like, boys, like, come on, like that's not good enough.
Unacceptable.
So it was clean, but like there's these little things that I'm still like, we still got to iron out,
Okay, what was the most nerve-wracking out of all of the teams that you have faced already? Because you're already qualified as seed 1, not much to fight for next week. So who did you say it was the hardest team to prepare for? And actually, when you saw it on the server, you were like, oh my god, I did not expect this one.
I think wasn't FPX our first game?
Yeah.
Like that one felt the toughest because we're going in dry, like
The only
new
map
meta.
dropped.
No one knows what's going on at all, and we just like threw whatever we had at each other. So that was obviously difficult, and obviously they're probably the best team in the group apart from us. But I think this week was kind of tough because we knew the veto could have gone like a weird way, and it did go quite a weird way. They just insta-banned Icebox. So like we had to show split and bind, which we hadn't really shown. Have we?
You
played
haven't.
split
No,
and
you
bind?
haven't.
No.
Until now.
It's okay.
Minnie only lives in the moment. Minnie lives in the moment. Yeah.
Well, you know, like I forget officials versus prac. You know, like we prac in this match all the time. So,
Yeah.
so like we had this week. We prac split once. Like I just threw it in at the end of the week just because I was like they might ban Icebox. I didn't expect them to, but we kind of thought maybe. But we're just confident in our split, so we just threw it at them.
Yeah, and speaking of a split, I actually wanted to show you around, but we didn't have enough time to get it. So I want to show you something a little bit more different to put a smile on your face, Minnie. I feel like this is going to put a smile on your face. Look at your boys right here, the discipline, the comms, and the collab. You got a smile about that one.
Yeah, like the funny thing is like we were like in the pre-round, Enzo was really loud and vocal about the fact that the Reyna ult is like the only way they're really gonna win these rounds off of us really clean. And if as long as we shut down the Reyna ult, we're gonna be fine. And so we found the Reyna ult, and Dirk was just like, I'm gonna kill him, and just pulled out his ult and just killed him. Like, cause he hadn't used the ult yet, and he pulled the chamber out because he knew that Reyna was ulting middle, and just decided to
Just wanted to
diff
diff
him, I
him.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, like with Enzo's fade, I think one thing's becoming like more and more clear is just how popular she is at the moment. I think there's still a lot of teams, for example, like Guild and BBL, haven't played her at all. Do you think teams are kind of like inting by not playing fade, considering you're a team that probably plays her the most at the moment?
No, I don't think they're inting by not playing her. I personally, I think she's really good on like one map. And we were playing her because Enzo kind of joined the team, was like, I think Fade's really good and wanted to play Fade. And we didn't have time to really like do anything else. So it's just like, if Dirk wants to play Chamber, Alpha Joe wants to play Raze, and Enzo wants to play Fade, I don't think it's like bad. I don't think it's perfect. Like I personally don't think it is the best all the time, but like we're just like vibing it out and just making do with what we got right now and just, you know, doing our thing.
Okay, what is the best then? If it's
On
not
what map?
fade. Just in general, if we're going to force you to do a pseudo quick tier list, just tell me the S tier agents right now.
Is it Chamber?
Well, that depends what maps to. That's like it really
Many!
depends
We
what map.
don't have enough time to talk about all of the maps.
Like on,
Trying to make
I'll say
clickbait
on Ascent, I think Fade's really good. I'll leave it at that.
He's going to give you that. Okay, now that you're so serious, I'm going to actually ask you a serious question. We have seen
He's
that,
always serious.
Yeah, I know. Everything that we've seen from you guys has been beautiful. It looks like you're living in a fairy tale. But with the 2 new additions and everything that went down at Masters, I want to know which has been like the hardest part to, adapting into stage 1. What has been the thing that didn't work at the beginning and you actually had to put a lot of work through? Or has everything been a fairy tale?
You mean like with Alpha and Enzo joining?
Yeah.
I mean, Alpha Jer is not like fluent in English, so like we're trying to like make sure that comms when we're reviewing, just like making sure that everyone's doing their bit to like make sure that he's like included and like isn't just left out of like those kind of discussions strategically or even like out of game. Like the kid's a bit of a troll, so we don't really need to like worry too much about him socially. Like he's just flaming me all the time, calling me an old man. So like he's fine.
He's
but,
got
like,
a point.
in game, like we just make sure that everyone's using like certain keywords and just making sure that like things are as smooth as possible because like he's doing his best, but like it's not 100% right now. And so he's like with an English tutor right now. And yeah, it'll be something that will be developed.
You do have the Turkish buff, like Durka said, and it seems to... The last time a team had a Turkish buff, they won World Championships. So, you know, it's not too shabby. Let's take a look at the standings here, though, at the end of this week. A lot has happened. Minnie, I gotta say, did you expect you, FPX, and Ascend to make it as the top 3 out of your group? And which teams are you expecting to take the 2nd and 3rd seed here?
I don't know what the last games are between.
Well, FPX are playing Ascent.
Yeah, it's FPX versus Ascend.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's
That's not nice.
I think FPX take it. They look. This like meta suits them in a way that like. It's like the meta's really weird. Like you can play loads of different things. I think FPX just love that they can just play stuff that they like and just do it kind of thing.
Okay, but who's
So I
going to be
think
the
it's,
3rd one on Group B? That's what we want to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have to say, Minnie, you might not know this, but there is a chance for Big to make it to playoffs. All that needs to happen is for them to beat BBL and for for Liquid to beat Mech.
Yeah.
That is all that needs to happen for Big to make it.
Wait, Liquid just have to beat Mech.
And
Yeah,
and Big
and they have to win
beat
against BBL.
That's it. That is that means Big.
Well, that's so they got to do both things. I think BBL look really strong right now. So like they kind of fumble in those last moments and kind of like throw a bit, but like it's possible. Like I think Mech Liquid beating Mech isn't unreasonable, and I think that Big beating BBL is not unreasonable. It's just like 25% chance, I guess, 30% chance.
Would you like to see it though? Because we're all kind of hoping that.
Could you imagine?
Imagine Big goes to playoffs from
8
not
losses
winning
in
a
a row.
single game. Yeah.
I mean, like it's like the issue is that if it was if it wasn't at the cost of Mech going out, I'd be like, sure.
Ooh.
Like at the end of the day, I'm like, I'd prefer to play Big because I think that Mech are the better team. But like, Mech kind of deserve it after the year they've had. You know, like they had it rough. Like not to like play,
feel bad now.
my tiny violin, but like.
We're like,
Like-
hoping and praying for Big, and now I'm like, okay,
I changed
right,
my mind.
Minnie.
I changed my mind. You're completely right. Minnie's always right. This is usually where we do the NA call out, but since we have Minnie here, I actually do want to speak about it real quick. NRG are going to be taking on 100 Thieves at 10 p.m. CST. I feel like in a couple of hours, in an hour or so. Minnie, what do you think? How do you feel about NA right now? Because I feel like if you guys do make it to Copenhagen, they seem to still be the region that are going to be standing in the way of EMEA from taking a trophy.
I think they look better than they ever have done. I don't know if they're like super stacked near the top or if it's like tier 1 point. The tier 1 is looking strong, but I don't know if like the top 3 in the region are like the best, if you know what I mean.
It's just
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe, but I'm not sure. I think they've got more teams that can compete. Like, you know what I mean? They got more teams that can go to international lands right now. And they look good. Like, traditionally they used to just have superstars, but now it seems like they actually got some strats now. So
Yeah.
it's nice to watch NA Valorant for once. To be
They've
honest,
stolen
like,
it from you, trust me.
You're
don't
talking
think
about
so.
the LAN. I actually have a question. Dirk had just shaved his head again, and I was wondering if every single member of Fnatic were to shave their heads when they go to an international event to give the extra buff, would you shave your head too?
Yeah.
No, I look ridiculous. Like I
Come
look
on,
ridiculous already.
Minnie.
Like
For the team.
with bald head, like it's just not a thing. Like I'm already struggling.
No, I think it would be the opposite. I think you were going to get the buff. Think about
I did it during lockdown.
Think about Honor from Latam from Crew. He had the bold buff 100%, and they beat you.
That's what you were missing. So it's your fault.
Yeah,
find
it was the shaved head. It was the shaved head.
It was funny with you saying, well, like FPX, this is the meta for them, because Doombros yesterday said that this is the meta for
you.
guys.
Yeah.
With the fact that
you
you're playing
dating?
Raze, Chamber. But it does lead on to the question. You're one best of 3 series away from Copenhagen. If you qualify, who are the other 2 teams that are going with you?
Well, Minnie wants to see Mech.
With that much?
FPX and Mech, I guess.
Oh.
No,
Guild.
FPX and Guild, maybe. FPX and Guild, probably.
Oh, so you want Mech to make it to playoffs just to lose? Isn't that way worse
want
than
some-
I
not
don't feel
making
so
it
bad
to
anymore.
playoffs?
He wants another 28-26 overtime game against them.
Because you want Mech
No, I
to
just-
make it to playoffs, but you don't want them to make it to Copenhagen.
No, wait. Was the question who do I think's going to make it or who do I want to make it?
Is that not the same thing?
No, of course.
All right, okay.
Oh,
give us
no.
who you think and who you want then. Go on. I'll let you have that.
Who I think is probably Guild FPX. Who I would like is M3C.
And
Big.
Ascent?
Liquid, just because I control the Ampy. That guy just trolls me all the time, so I need to exact revenge.
all right. Wait, I feel like there's a story here.
Not really. I go and stick his chat and he just bans me and stuff. You know?
All right, okay. All right, Yampi and Minnie have beef. This is not something that I anticipated, but thank you so much, Minnie, for joining us. Congratulations once again for getting first seed. That is everything from us this week. It's been a crazy week. I hope you guys at home have enjoyed it. Thank you, Kakuka and Ryan, for joining me, and to all of the casters as well. We're going to be back with the last week of VCT EMEA Challengers regular season next weekend. You do not want to miss this. We'll see you on Friday.